Hello everyone, and a happy Christmas to you all. Well, we're not quite at Christmas yet, but it's very close. I hope everyone out there has got all their presents sorted, all their shopping done. In a year, well, it's been quite a different year for us all, hasn't it, folks? So let's hope that 2021 is a lot better. Just hope and pray that we're going to get back some normality in our lives. I'm still messing about with my Hoovers, as I always do, but this whole palaver has affected my life, and I'm sure it's affected your life, and I hope, if it has, it's only affected it slightly, but anyway, let's hope we're near the end of it. Anyway, this is a sort of a Christmassy video because I've got a Christmas jumper on. Yes, I am fat. It was pointed out to me, very rudely. Yes, I've put some weight on, but I look fatter. In my videos, I'm always like this normally. And obviously, the belly does sort of creep into shot. When I stand up, you know, I've gained a bit of weight. But I'm going to do something about that in the new year. Anyway, so I don't need things like that pointing out to me, folks, because I do know I'm fat. I know I'm bald. You know, it's obvious. So if you want to put something under the video, please make it nice, or make it about the vacuum cleaner I'm showing you in the video. So, with all that out of the way, let's have a closer look at this machine. It's not an unboxing because, of course, you can see it next to me. I've unboxed it, but I'm absolutely chuffed with this. I'll tell you now, spoiler alert, this is fantastic. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here by stating, in my humble opinion, this is the last decent Hoover upright available in the UK. I'm sure if you're watching this in the USA or Canada, you'll have your own ideas of what was the last great Hoover cleaner. It might have been the Concept one, it might have been the USA Wind Tunnel series. But in the UK, the Turbopower 3 or Turbopower 2 series was certainly amongst the best, in my opinion. Now, this was the top of the line in the Hoover upright range in the 90s. Originally launched, I believe, in 92, the Turbopower 2. There were other variants, Turbopower 1000, and finally Turbopower 3. But of course, Turbopower in this form did run along as a budget machine, and I've shown you quite a few of those on my channel. But this is the all singing, all dancing, full bells and whistles edition Turbopower 3, finished. It's hard to see, I'll show you some close-ups. It is green, looks blue. I believe they call this get it right, Rog? Lagoon Green Metallic, because it's got metallic flecks in it, and it's not just a painted finish, it's embedded in the plastic. This is the underside of the cleaner, and this is more or less how I found it when I opened the box. I have given it a wipe over with a wet wipe, but it was only light dust. I was so surprised by the condition of this machine. But I suppose in Germany and other European countries, uprights aren't popular. Stick type or canister machines are more popular on the continent. So they didn't sell so many, and I expect when some people bought them, they didn't really use them very much. Well, that's evident with this machine. The brushes are still absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with this brush roll. Even the long edge cleaning brushes are excellent. You can see it's the agitator brush roll with the beta pads as opposed to the single beta bars. So it did need a new belt. I've always found that Turbopower 2s, Turbopower 3s stretch the belts quite readily, so whenever I store one away I slip the belt off. So it's had a new belt. Undo two screws here, one screw here to remove the base plate to give access to the belt spindle here. And on this, because I believe Turbopower 2s blocked up fairly readily, instead of having a fixed piece that used to be, the earlier models had the suction channel cover incorporated in the base plate. So you had to undo 4 screws, I believe it was, to remove the whole cover if there was a blockage. But because this is very narrow, they must have blocked up easily. I've never had them block up. It is a narrow cleaning path. It gets even narrower as it gets into the suction inlet. So Hoover designed this piece so the user could easily remove it to clear a blockage. So it's obviously something that was discovered in the production run when this machine was actually in shops and in people's homes, and they developed a new style of a clear suction channel. Another little incy-wincy thing wrong with it. I can't remember which one. One of these, I think it's this one. This is missing the wheel securing circlip. Well, they're not a circlip on these, they're a full circular thing. I've managed to get another one, so as soon as it does I'll just pop that on. It's not going to move much because it's more or less in place, but I thought I'd get one. I've just oiled up the wheels because they were a little bit squeaky, but that's all I've had to do on the underside of this cleaner. Here's the top of the cleaner head, looking only slightly better than it did when I removed it from the box. I just gave the whole machine a bit of a wipe with a wet wipe. I used some T-cut scratch remover followed by a couple of coats of a wax polish. That's all it needed. Now I did notice on the listing that just here, let's move the cleaner down for you. On the eBay listing photo, just here it looked like there was some damage. There was some white swirls on the plastic that looked like there could have been deep scratches, and it actually damaged the plastic so much that it revealed white plastic underneath. But fortunately that was just something on the surface. It might have been paint. It took a while, I have to admit, a bit of rubbing to get it off, but it came off. So when I removed that, I was so pleased. This has been an absolute joy to buff up, because there's hardly anything to do with it, and you'll hear it running and being demonstrated, and you'll hear that it sounds absolutely fantastic. Okay folks, as you can see, I've removed the motor cover, which is a pretty easy job, just 4 screws. 2 other screws are hidden behind this piece here, which fits at the bottom of the bag housing. That comes out by levering. You have to do it carefully so you don't break them. You can use a small screwdriver and go in at the top and just ease these open, and then you can pull this cover up, which reveals 2 more screw holes. Now the reason I've taken it off is partly to try and get rid of the smell of something absolutely horrendous, and another reason. Now here is, I've put it in a bag. Now once you've smelt this, you'll not forget the smell, and you really don't want to smell it anymore. This is absolutely disgusting. This is a genuine Hoover air freshener, a special square or oblong one that Hoover launched with the Turbopower 2, or it could have been the Turbopower 1000. I'm not sure if the Turbopower 2 originally had this feature. I think it was later variants. I'm going to have to scrub my hands. I don't know if you can just make out, it is printed Hoover. That is the most hideous air freshener I've smelt, and I've smelt a lot. So I wondered what the smell was when I first got this machine. Everything was fairly clean, and you know, there wasn't really any dirt inside, but there was this smell and I couldn't quite place my finger on it, and then I realised it's coming from this horrible air freshener. And what they've done, and the reason why I'm having to soak the motor cover, look at this. They've put the air freshener, this is the exhaust filter, you can see here, this is where they've put the air freshener, and I'll show you in a minute when I get the motor cover. They put it in the wrong place, and there's a reason why there's a special place for this. This obviously must have some sort of fragranced oil in it. It made this part, it made the exhaust filter stick to the grill, and at the moment I've had it soaking in hot soapy water. That didn't do it, so now I'm using some sticky stuff remover and scraping it away. I don't think I'm going to clean it off entirely. I'll need something maybe like some methylated spirit to remove it properly, but it was actually completely blocked with filter material. So by placing this in the middle where it shouldn't go, it has actually blocked off maybe up to a third of the exhaust vent. So I mean, that's a solid piece of whatever it is. So the airflow through the machine wouldn't have been as it should. This should go to one side, and there is a special place you put it, made of a different plastic. There's a plastic piece that obviously stops it sticking as that has. Anyway, I've got a new, oh, it smells. I've got a new exhaust filter. I'm keeping that for prosperity in case I need to ward off, I don't know, zombies or Who's that drinks blood? Dracula. You know, to ward off evil, basically. But so I'm going to keep it in this bag, and if I need at any point to ward off evil, I'll pop that at the foot of my bed at night. And no evil spirit will come near you. You'll know what I mean if you've smelt them. I don't know anyone who's smelt that and found that's a nice smell. It's not like the original Hoover air fresheners, the round ones that were launched with the Turbopowers. They're lovely. That is horrible. And I don't think you can even buy these anymore, even if you wanted to. So that is going in the collection, but in the sealed bag. So we can see the motor, and I just wiped it with a wet wipe, but there was only a very thin layer of dust. This cleaner has had very, very little use, I would say, but it seems to be a good, you know, it's a good solid motor. I'm not going to do anything with the motor. It works fine, so there's no need to take it out. There is some bits of dust that I can't get out, but I'm not too precious about this. It really is in very, very good condition. So I'm just going to go and get the motor cover, put that back and reassemble everything, and then I can carry on with the demonstration. Okay folks, well, I've cleaned that as well as I can. You can see it's going to be very hard to get that off. I tried using the old sticky stuff remover that has a very strong citrus smell, and I can still smell that original air freshener. So it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while before this doesn't smell as it does. Now then, I just need to lean over, excuse me, because, oh, I have to be careful with that. I'll have to replace that at some stage. That is perishing. This is the diffuser, yeah. I thought it looked okay, but now I'm handling it a bit more. It's, yeah, it's not good. So I'll replace that with something generic, just something you can easily cut something to fit that's suitable. But that goes on the inside. Yes, that's a little bit worse for wear. So that's the inside of the motor hood, and yeah, it's perishing. It's perishing, folks. So this is going to come off again at a later stage, and I'll have another go at removing this. But this was completely blocked, this section, with the filter material. This is the section here. See, it's a different type of plastic there. That's where the air freshener should go. And on the exhaust grill, it's slightly raised at this side to incorporate the air freshener. So it doesn't go in the middle, because if it does, you get that sort of problem. Okay, so I'll just locate the motor cover back onto the machine, like so. Make sure it's in place, and then I've just got to do up the 4 screws and then pop the little piece back at the base of the bag door. Okay, well that's all back in place properly. I've got the grill, which I've also washed, but still smells of that air freshener. And I've got a new exhaust filter. It's not a genuine one. I have got some genuine ones, but because I couldn't locate them at the time, I just ordered a generic Qualtex pack. It'll do for now. And when I take this motor hood off again and clean it properly, I'll put a genuine Hoover one. I think they used to come with the dust bags, actually, the exhaust filter. So I think that's it. There's no lugs underneath. There's just one lug actually on this one at the bottom, and then it goes this way around. That's it. There we go. So even when I turn this on now, it's still going to smell, but hopefully that smell will go in time. Just at the bottom of the bag door, look, you can see how shiny this machine is. You can see my ceiling light reflected there, and one of my video lights. So it's hard to pick out the Hoover branding here. And of course, this has still got the Royal Warrant. By appointment to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, manufacturers of vacuum cleaners and laundry equipment, Hoover Limited, Merthyr Tydfil. Merthyr Tydfil in South Wales was the headquarters of Hoover Limited at the time. They didn't actually manufacture this vacuum cleaner in Wales. I do believe this is from the Cambuslang plant in Scotland. Now, I did own one of the very first Turbopower 2s. I can't remember the number, U4362 possibly, but it was the base model in navy blue without the metallic finish. And the earlier models here, where there's this blanking piece, had a piston style bag check indicator that fluctuated. You know the type if you've been watching my channel a while. But I never experienced this problem, but apparently it weakened the bag door where this part was, and they often used to split down the middle and were replaced by a strengthened door. This has got the strengthened door and it doesn't have the bag check indicator here. So that's another thing that happened with this machine during its production run, but Hoover did sort the problem out. And the later base model, instead of the piston style bag check indicator here, it had a light just above the bag door. Just here at the top of the bag door, actually printed on the bag door, it's not a removable sticker, we have Permabag System 2, which I'll show you in a minute, stair cleaning, something that the original Turbopower 2 cleaners didn't have, autosense, one of my favourite things about this machine, and here it just says 1000 to denote that this is 1000 watts. This is my favourite part of the Hoover Turbopower 3, the control panel. Now, we don't have as many flashing lights as the Hoover Sensortronic series, but this is a pretty sophisticated vacuum cleaner for the 1990s. So you've got an on-off switch here. This is your boost button, which basically overrides the autosense feature, so the machine is permanently in max mode when you press on that button there. If you don't use the boost button, the autosense system comes into effect. So what this basically does, inside, just near where the dirt enters the bag, there's a little sensor that listens to the dirt entering it. So if it hears that more dirt is coming into the machine, for example, you're cleaning a particularly dirty part of carpet or a heavily soiled area, the machine knows this and it will increase the power. When that dirt is being picked up, it goes back to this setting, which is low power. So for general use, you'll be cleaning, it's low power. The machine will sense extra dirt and go up to this setting here. And as I said, the setting, it will alternate between these two settings, the low power and the general sort of medium power level. If you've got a very heavily soiled area or you want extra suction for tools, you'd of course use the boost button and this light will come on. There's also a little light here to indicate when the bag is full, or in the case of this machine, when the Permabag is full. Hoover's first attempt of a Permabag system was launched in the early 90s with the Turbopower Freedom and Turbomaster Freedom. I've had a Turbopower Freedom from new, it wasn't very good. I do now also have a Turbopower Freedom, a second-hand one, but it does need quite a lot of work. It's been converted to use with a dust bag because the Permabag System 1 was pretty bad. It let a lot of dust through. The Permabag System 2 is slightly better, but not much. Anyway, so behind the bag door, where you'd expect to see a dust bag, we have Permabag System 2, which you will have seen. I have put up a Turbopower 2 dealer demonstration video on my channel, which I absolutely love. If you haven't seen that, check it out. That covers the original Turbopower 2 series. So this is the Permabag System 2. I'm going to show you inside. It might have slightly more dirt in it than it had when I opened this machine. I've run this machine for a minute on my carpet after I fitted a new belt. So basically it's just a plastic box. A plastic box with a porous fabric that Hoover called Permalon. So it's quite rigid and it looks fairly solid, but it is porous. But being porous, the bag does clog up. Like if you pick up fine dust, flour, etc., it'll clog, probably worse than a paper bag and certainly worse than one of the newer fleecy type bags. You can see at the top there it says Permabag System 2. This has a slight modification to the earliest Permabag bags, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. You can see basically, look, the dirt goes in here. It just pushes on to the bag support tube here. Make sure it's on properly, just push it until it's in place there, and you put the bag door on. To empty the machine, you've got two clips either side of the handle, so you carry it out to your dustbin, release the two clips, out comes, oh, it has picked some more bits up. Now these are a newer addition, because the earlier Permabag System 2 didn't have these, and Hoover call these dirt release tongs. And I think this prevents, because if you use this for a long time, I think the dirt can sort of compact in the bottom and it might sort of be hard to tip out. So what these did was sort of grab hold of the dirt in the middle, and as you removed the handle it would pull a lot of the dirt out with it. So that is new dirt that's on there. But basically I found this very clean. I'm going to wash this. You can wash it. It's hard to see because it's a bit dark. Got a little light here, might be able to show you better. So basically this is how it was. It was not dirty at all. Very clean. Obviously it will have fine dust clogging the pores of the Permalon material, but I'm just going to wash that. I think some people put them in dishwashers, but I'm just going to wash that hot soapy water and let that dry. But I'm not going to be using the Permabag, because the good thing about the Turbopower 3 with the Permabag, you can easily put a paper bag or one of the newer fleece bags in this with no modification necessary. A bag will fit in here just the same as it would with the non-Permabag models. And for that reason, you could buy as an optional extra, if you wanted to, these were available separately, so you could make your Turbopower 2 or Turbopower 1000, etc. into a Permabag System 2 model. To show you how clean this Hoover Turbopower 3 was when I first got it, you can see from the inside of the bag compartment, despite using the Permabag, it is, I mean, I haven't cleaned this yet, look at it. And the filters at the bottom as well, they haven't been cleaned. Little bit of dust on that. That's the first pre-motor filter, and the other one, a little bit harder to get out, is the carbon layer to help reduce odours. Absolutely, I was amazed when I opened this machine. It's nice when you open something that's far better than you expected, but then again, the same week I opened something that was far, far worse. I'm not even going to show that video. I was quite angry when, when I made it. I've got over it now. There are worse things we can worry about. I did an Instagram live video about it, so if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that, but not many folk were watching at the time. Good job too, I think. So here, I move the machine forward. At the top here, there's a little red clip that actually holds the bag in place. So I'm going to use the Hoover H18 bags that I often retrofit some older Hoovers with. So it's an H18, it's designed to fit Turbopower 2, but it also fits Turbopower 1, it fits the top fill type seniors with the later style seniors. It fits a number of different Hoover cleaners. It's massive, it's a lot bigger than it needs to be, but they're absolutely ideal. They're not expensive either. This is by a company called For Your Home, and it's an H18, but this will fit because it's the correct shape, bag collar. It's got a little bit of a seal as well. So we just locate it at the bottom, push it, and then the red clip holds it in place. But as you can see, there's a lot of extra material we don't need, so you just have to tuck that in. So it's never going to fill to this capacity. I don't know why they're so wide actually, but I suppose it won't do any harm. So once that's sort of tucked in, I can pop the bag door back. There we go. I have to admit, I've not really touched the back of the machine, just wiped it over briefly, but the hose could do with coming off and being soaked in a bit of biological washing powder, but I'm not going to get the inside of the hose wet, so I just have to make sure that the hose doesn't go fully in the water. It's light dust, it's nothing major. We've got everything as well. All the tools are complete. Often you get tools missing with these. So at the bottom we've got, well, it's practically unused. I don't know if that's been used at all. The dusting brush, not too bad. These a little bit stiff for delicates, but it's okay. I've seen far worse. So that fits on the bottom. Then we've got a lovely style of nozzle. Oh no, this is what I think this is correct actually. That's a little bit distorted. This is what Hoover called their stair grooming tool, I think. I preferred the one that had the litter picker. This was introduced, I think, this style of tool when Turbopower 3 was launched, and it was shown in the brochures as a stair grooming tool because it does have a brush here. But as I said, I prefer this style of nozzle but with the velour strip. So that's better for your upholstery. So that's your stair cleaning tool, and of course this has a stair cleaning hose, so you can reach more or less up to the top of a 13-flight staircase. So that fits in very, very securely. They're not going to fall out. Here we have your extension wand, which I've never really had out. It needs a bit of a wipe and a polish to get rid of some light scratching. And inside, not sure why it's called scabbard, but that is called a scabbard crevice tool. I've had to zoom out to get the whole thing in shots. As you can see, it's very long. That will get in every nook and cranny, and you can put it on the end of the wand as well and reach up high too. And the thing about this, you can attach, I'll take the dusting brush off, both the dusting brush and the stair cleaning nozzle, you just about see in there, you can actually fit them to the end of the scabbard tool, so you've got extra reach. But of course they will also fit directly on the end of the hose, but also on the end of the round extension wand. So that's pretty good, makes it versatile. And I believe they carried on with that with the Pure Power range that followed. I can never remember which way these go in, but I'll try it that way. No, it isn't that way. I think it's wider end first. That's better, that fits. Just down here is a little hook, and you use that hook to attach the hose when you're using the machine for above floor cleaning, because then it makes the hose come out slightly lower so it's not going to topple over. When you're using this machine for cleaning stairs though, you don't attach the hose to that, you just let the hose come out near the top, and then it will reach right to the top of your stairs. And this little flexible rubber piece, which yes, it does need cleaning, that contains the tag that you attach to the hook at the bottom. I'll show you that in a minute, of course. It is actually branded, can't quite see, but it's actually got Hoover stamped on it. So that just tucks away like that. This is a restyled piece at the back, incorporating a new type of carry handle, which seems a bit stronger. And again, that needs a proper clean. Lots of places where dust gets in. Little toothbrush will help get that clean. There's a bit of polystyrene trapped in there because it was wrapped in quite a lot of polystyrene when it arrived, which explains why it didn't arrive damaged. Here at the top we've got the upper cord hook, which of course rotates so we can release the cable in one go. And here is another later addition. This hook here incorporates the longer stair cleaning hose. On the original Turbopower 2s, the hose would sort of finish there and it would fit neatly behind the bag compartment, but because this is a much longer hose, Hoover have had to put an extra hook, and it's all pretty strong. The thing I will say about this machine in general, the Turbopower 2s, not necessarily the very last ones that came out, but the build quality on these for a Hoover of the 90s is pretty good. This is the plug fitted, and as you can see it is a German plug because this was a German export. But I'm going to leave it on the machine to keep the machine as original as I can. It's easy enough to convert it. I can use an adapter like this, just plug it in, and then I can plug it into my 13 amp 3-pin socket, or I can get another semi-permanent method. There are adapters available that you fit onto the end of the German plug and screw it on, and then it becomes more or less a 3-pin plug, albeit a slightly bulky one. But because Germany use the same voltage as the UK, unlike American cleaners, there's no extra additional voltage conversion needed. It's just the shape of the plug. If you wanted to and weren't bothered about the original plug, you can just cut that off and wire it in to a UK plug. But for the time being anyway, I'm just going to use this adapter. I have to admit that you're not going to see the same sort of agitation with this clean fan Hoover Turbopower 3 as you would see with one of the classic old Hoover dirty fan machines such as the Junior or Senior. But this machine, I've used it very briefly on this carpet since changing the belt, and it does groom nicely, and I'm sure it will pick up very well, especially with that fleece bag. So let's give it a proper go. I'm going to try it on the setting just above the lowest pile. I'm not sure if I'll have to raise the head slightly for this carpet, but I think it'll be fine. Let's give it a go. I'm going to use this cleaner in autosense mode, so when I first switch on, the cleaner will start in medium power. As I use the machine, if it doesn't detect any extra dirt, of course it's going to lower the motor to its slowest speed. Okay, here goes. This Hoover Turbopower 3 works pretty well on my plush living room carpet, and I must say the autosense system seems pretty effective. I could see a particle of dirt, it was a large piece of dirt, just before I picked it up. The machine sensed it as it was taking it into the bag and boosted the power, and there was also another area where there was some visible dirt that came out of the Permabag. Once that was picked up, it boosted the power again, and then as I continued to clean, the power was lowered. I do like the autosense feature. Some people don't like the machine continually changing speed, but for me it works very well, and it helps you without having to look at a light, as the dirt finder feature you get on some Hoover cleaners and other makes of cleaner. You know when it's clean when the light turns green, I think Hoover used to say. Well, you're having to rely on looking at the light. But with this one, you just basically clean, and if the machine is still in its higher mode, you know to continue cleaning that area until it lowers the speed. So again, very clever for a Hoover cleaner from the 1990s. I've got my suction gauge to see how powerful this cleaner is at the hose end. Now this just measures suction power. It's not going to determine how well a vacuum cleaner is going to perform. It's just something that I can use to compare the suction of various different vacuum cleaners, whether they be new in the box or vintage machines. It's always interesting for me just to see how much suction they have. So I don't know how the autosense system is going to be affected by me blocking the hose off. But I'm going to switch it on. I think it's going to start off at least on the medium setting. I'm not sure if it's going to go to the low setting. But to get the full suction power of this machine, obviously I'll switch to boost. On boost, the suction power at the hose end was about 56, which is pretty good in my opinion. It went down to just over 40 when the suction lowered itself. But yes, compared to dirty fan Hoover upright cleaners that you could still buy at the time this was in the shops, it performs a lot better with the hose. And it's more than a double stretch hose. I don't know if it's even more than a triple. If you just look at the hose end, well, look at my two fingers there, look folks, and I'll stretch it as far as it'll go. Well, I'd say that's probably triple that gap there. Look, if you just look there, you say it's a triple stretch, I would say. This is the handle end. So this is a wider bore hose than on the Turbopower 2, and it's got a slightly bent handle, so it's more comfortable to hold. You can actually take it off if you get a blockage in that part, but it's not got a very sharp angle, so it's unlikely to block. But that just comes off and it easily fits back in, clips into place like that. So yes, I just absolutely adore this vacuum. It's nice to have a top of the range machine in such good condition. It's going to look better. Obviously I need to do the back and I need to do the hose, but I can confirm this hose does reach up a standard flight of stairs. I've tried it, and as I said, when you're using the stair hose for stair cleaning, it will come out. You put the cleaner at the bottom of the stairs securely against the bottom stair, and then you can stretch it up higher. But obviously when you're cleaning around the house, your upholstery, etc., you do need to put the little doobry. There will be a name, but if you put the little doobry at the bottom, it means that the machine is a lot more stable and you can pull it along. But had you not used that doobry, you'll see that if you start tugging at the machine, it would fall over. So that's why Hoover incorporated that. Unlike the Electrolux 500 series, where the hose permanently fitted at the bottom. Well, obviously it wasn't attached, the tools weren't attached, but the hose fitted at the lower part of the machine. So like this cleaner, you could move it. Okay then folks, to finish today's video, I'm going to pop the hose back and put some dirt down, and obviously we'll see the autosense feature in action, because it's definitely definitely going to sense some extra dirt. Well folks, I did detect a bit of agitation during that dirt pickup demo. Not as much as we'd see with the old Hoover beats as it sweeps, as it cleans action, but it has the activator, which doesn't beat as well, in my opinion and experience, doesn't beat as well as the traditional beater bars on the old dirty fan Hoovers. I'm really impressed with this Hoover Turbopower 3, apart from the absolutely disgusting smell that is filling my living room. I think I'm going to have to open some windows. It's a bit hard to describe, but it's similar to a teenager with BO who, instead of having a good wash, has decided to cover up the smell of BO with Lynx Africa or something like Charlie or something if you're a lady. Those body sprays, you know, those horrible cheap body sprays you get in the market. That on top of BO, that is what emits from the Hoover Turbopower 3. Not a good selling point. I'm hoping eventually the smell will fade or my nose will become accustomed to it. Whatever happens, I'm still going to use this machine for quite a bit more. In fact, I'm going to clean my whole house with it now after this video. Now it's got the new belt and a new filter. Hopefully, with use, it might start to smell a bit nicer. As some of you may know, I'm not doing my Christmas Day unboxing extravaganza this year, but you could always watch some of the ones I've done in previous years if you want to. I will, fingers crossed, if everything's as it should be next year, I'm going to make up for the fact I haven't done my Advent videos this year or the unboxing on Christmas Day. I'm going to make up for it next year with, well, an Advent calendar and Christmas specials like you've never seen before. I've already got some ideas I'm planning for next Christmas. So stay tuned for that, God willing. So until then, I will be uploading some videos on Christmas Day, including the shout out videos for the younger vacuum fans. And if you've asked me a question for the question and answer video, I'll be answering your question on Christmas Day. Don't ask me a question under this video because, well, I'll respond to it by writing the answer, but I won't respond to it on a video. You can only ask the question to be broadcast on a video underneath that specific video that I uploaded last week. You'll know which video that is if you watched till the very end. If you haven't watched till the very end, you won't be able to ask the question. So anyway, it was a recent video, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully I won't get too many more questions because the videos are going to go on for hours and hours. So I've got another video to finish off today. I hope you're having a nice time at the moment, as nice as we can have at the moment. But never fear, I will be back in 2021 with a lot more vacuum cleaners. It's been a bit Hoover heavy of late, I know that. But I've got so many different brands. I've got cordless machines, I've got robotic machines. I might do a robotic week for you because I've got so many I haven't shown you. I'll be showing you new and vintage cleaners, some more maintenance videos. I mean, there's so much in my head that I've got planned for 2021. And hopefully 2021 is the year I finally reach the elusive 100,000 YouTube subscribers. So if you don't subscribe already, please do so. And of course, if I do reach 100,000, I'll be doing some special videos to celebrate with some giveaways as well. So until the next video, I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions about the Hoover Turbopower 3, please comment below. And I'll see you during the next video. Bye for now.